National Football League.
Partly cloudy day here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. We are getting close to kickoff. Let's check some of the scores of earlier games. You see Chicago up on Washington in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh all over Detroit. The Giants 3-point lead on Seattle. Tampa Bay beating New Orleans up pretty good, and then St. Louis over Carolina. And another few other games that we'll look at. Jacksonville all over Minnesota in a final there. Atlanta holding on over Buffalo. Kansas City beats San Diego, and Baltimore up on Cincinnati, pitching a shutout on the Ravens. Let's look at this NFC playoff picture, Jeff, and it's starting to become a little clearer.
Yeah, it's starting to become a little clearer, and this was the game in which the Arizona Cardinals were holding out hope that the New Orleans Saints would win, because that was their last chance to stay in the playoff picture, and Tampa just hammers New Orleans. And New Orleans is definitely on their downward slide. Next best, they're way out. They're way out. They're not playing the kind of football that you'd like to play in December. But the team right here, though, that's the team to beat. The Rams, they're just tremendous. Their defense is so improved over last year, and their offense is just as high-powered as ever.
Micah Nord, a kick, and it is Michael Pittman, who is deep. Marte Jenkins, the usual return man for Arizona, out with injury. So Pittman will return this kick. And he takes it from the 4-yard line. And Pittman makes it up to the 28-yard line, a 25-yard return. The Cardinal offense ranked 12th in the NFL. Up front, Shelton, Dishman, Grudadoria, the rookie Leonard Davis, and Anthony Clement. Backs and receivers, Boston, who, as Jeff said at the top, leads the NFL in receiving yards. Frank Sanders on the other side, Pittman and Makovica in the backfield, and Steve Bush is the starter at tight end, and Jake Plummer. You see the numbers the last 5 games. Plummer has turned it up a notch.
And Dave McGinnis said that he might come out with 3 wide receivers, and he has.
And the first pass intended for Boston is incomplete. Mario Edwards getting the defense for the Cowboy defense, which is ranked 4th in the NFL. Zellner, Noble, Myers, and Ellis. Ellis, the sack leader, with 6. Coakley, Wynn, and Marcus Steele, who returns after missing last week with injury. And in the secondary, Edwards and Hawthorne. The corners, Teague and Woodson. A couple of veteran safeties. 2nd and 10. And Pittman on the trap. He is met in the backfield by Michael Myers.
And this has been the one consistent, like we said at the open, for this Dallas Cowboys team is the defense. This defense is tremendous. Michael Myers and Greg Ellis leading the way up front. And Michael Myers, the last time out, did pretty well against Leonard Davis, the rookie offensive guard for the Cardinals. He was excited about the last game going against the big rookie from Texas.
The Cardinals have struggled on 3rd downs, as you see. 29th in the NFL. This one a 3rd and 10. 3 receivers at the top. Plummer from the shotgun. And Plummer is sacked. And that's Byron Frisch. First sack of the year for Frisch.
And the credit for this sack needs to go to the secondary. The coverage was fantastic. This is Byron Frisch. He's going to go all the way around L.J. Shelton, and the only reason he's able to get there is because Jake Plummer doesn't have anybody to go to. The push up the middle with Greg Myers and Ellis are not all that great. But Frisch just has the time to go all the way around the outside.
So Reggie Swinton back to receive the Scott Player punt as Arizona goes 3 and out with their initial drive. Swinton with the fair catch, and he makes it at the 39-yard line. A nice 42-yard punt and no return. And the Cowboys will come out on offense. And they are ranked 29th in the NFL up front. Adams, Allen, Stepnoski, Garmin, and Page. The Rocket, Raheem Ishmael and Joey Galloway, 2 fast wide receivers. Emmitt Smith and Troy Hambrick in the backfield. Jackie Harris is the tight end. And Quincy Carter making his 6th start. The rookie out of Georgia, and he has come on a little bit of late, although he had a tough time last week in Seattle.
Yeah, he threw an interception for a touchdown, and he threw about 3 other balls that should have been picked off.
And Carter, play action, and that ball is batted. Fred Wakefield. And Wakefield has 7 batted passes, make that 8 now on the year. And Wakefield's a part of this defensive line that is just getting it done for Arizona. You got Burke, Tanner, Davis, and the rookie Wakefield. Linebackers, Fredrickson, McKinnon, and Ray Thompson. And in the secondary, Corey Chavis and David Barrett are the corners. Tillman and Lassiter, the safeties. Second down and 10. Cowboys from the I formation. Blitz comes. And Smith is trapped in the backfield. Wakefield again. 2 plays in a row by the rookie out of Illinois.
And Emmitt Smith's not happy after last week's game with the number of carries. And on this one, he can't be happy either because Wakefield at the left end position runs a stunt with Russell Davis and comes up underneath of him and makes the play for a loss. So Emmitt Smith is obviously frustrated, and head coach Dave Campos said a lot of that frustration stems out of the lack of a true fullback because, as we know, Ray Hambrick is no fullback. That's a guy that should be a tailback.
Yeah, he's a pretty good tailback, I'll give you that. Third and long. Carter dumps it to Harris out of the backfield, and Jackie Harris breaks a couple of tackles, but he has run out of bounds short of the first down.
And Quincy Carter is playing with a rib cartilage strain today. He's got it wrapped up a little bit. He said he was planning on taking a couple painkillers prior to the game to get him through the game, but he said it's not that big of a deal. And I talked to him right before the game. I said, is it loosened up? He said, yeah, it's loosened up pretty good. Wade Wilson felt that it was not going to be an issue for him today.
Arnold Jackson back to return the Micah Knorr punt. Jackson with a 12.1 return average has done a nice job. And Knorr, a low liner, a returnable ball, except that it bounces and now is touched by the Cowboys, so it's a freebie for Jackson, and he runs it out of bounds. A 42-yard punt, a 3-yard return, and no score here with 12:07 left. Arizona with the football.
Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36.
So far, no offensive activity to speak of. 0-0 here in the first quarter. Both teams with a 3-and-out series. And Jake Plummer, who actually has more touchdown passes than interceptions, which is the first time in his career. He's +3 in that department, and he's done a much better job of operating this offense.
He has, and the big reason for that is offensive coordinator Rich Olson, and also quarterbacks coach Jeep Christ, who was his quarterbacks coach back in '98, which was Jake's best year.
Multiple shifting by the Cardinal offense. Reverse. Here comes David Boston. Plummer throws a block. But Boston is run out of bounds by Mario Edwards. Jake Plummer, he's blocking as well.
And you always get nervous anytime your quarterback makes blocks, but you know the players really rally when they see that kind of effort out of their quarterback. Jake Plummer turns around. Once the ball gets to David Boston's hand, there's Jake trying to make the cut block on Marcus Steele. Doesn't do a very good job, but the effort's there. You know, and that's what the players get excited about seeing. And obviously they want to get the ball in David Boston's hands as many creative ways as possible because he is such a threat.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Cowboys blitz, and the guy took a Makovica, and he takes a shot from Woodson.
And Makovica, Joel's got to be careful. Now, last week he suffered a concussion in the game at the Giants. You know, so here's a guy that's one of the many battled and bruised for Dave McGinnis' squad. You know, and also talking about banged up and bruised up is center Mike Grudadoria, who in practice during the week ended up having a stinger, and it wouldn't ordinarily worry a lot of people, but last year he had C6 and C7 in his neck fused after a ruptured vertebra.
3rd and 9. Plummer throws it outside, and it's knocked away. That's Pat Dennis falling off in a cover 2, breaking up the 7 route.
And that's a tough throw, and actually Jake had Tywan Mitchell open on the other side, and all it is a levels route. They want to make Larimore make a decision between these two guys, either short or deep, and they would hope that he would make the decision to cover the short guy to be able to complete the long one, but a great job
by Pat Dennis. And the second punt of the day is caught by Swinton, and he goes down immediately at the 49-yard line. And the Cowboys will come back with excellent field position. Next week, it's another full day of NFL action, beginning with the undisputed champion of pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday. Then Jeff Garcia and the 49ers visit an old bitter rival as they take on Emmitt Smith and these Cowboys, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, here on Fox. Ishmael in motion. They run a toss to Emmitt Smith, and Smith with a cutback. Had a hole briefly, but it closed quickly. That's a play that we talked about with Dave Campo, that they like to run with Emmitt Smith.
Calls that the Nebraska toss, and a little different. Right in front of Emmitt Smith is fullback Terry Witherspoon in for Troy Hambrick. And this is at the point of the year. The playoffs are out. There's no possibility of that. So Dave Campo, along with McGinnis, are going to be looking at a lot of different players. And so they brought Terry Witherspoon up off the practice squad. And head coach Dave Campo said, he might not know exactly where to go, but he's going to hit something.
Yeah, he might not know who to hit, but trust me, he'll hit somebody. Complete to the tight end Harris, his second catch of the day, and very close to the first down. I believe it is a first down, the first one of the ball game. Adrian Wilson on the coverage.
Quincy Carter had a bad day at the office last week, and today head coach Dave Campo was excited about seeing him come out. He said, when he was at Georgia, when he had a bad day, the next week he always came back with a real strong outing. So he was expecting Quincy to have the same kind of day here today.
Cardinals show blitz, and Rocket is hit by Wakefield. Another big play by Fred Wakefield as he stops Ishmael on the reverse.
Wakefield is starting this day out like gangbusters. Batted ball. Tackle for a loss on Emmitt. Now this second tackle for a loss. As you can see, Ishmael going in on the little, it's not really a true reverse. It's more, is it just a wide receiver sweep? Try to utilize his speed to get to the perimeter of this Cardinal defense, which has been suspect for this football team all year long, especially with all the injuries at the defensive end spot.
Second and very long. Carter from the shotgun. Goes down the middle. Flag is down as well, as Adrian Wilson was getting physical with Rocket Ishmael. And the preliminary call is holding on the Cardinal defense, and I believe it was Wilson.
Holding. Number 22, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Adrian Wilson, one of the young secondary players for this Arizona Cardinal football team, a rookie out of North Carolina State, their third-round draft pick. Actually looks like he made a tackle on that play. I don't even know if I called it holding. He should have called tackling.
And he missed the tackle as well. He couldn't get Ishmael on the ground. So it's the second first down of the drive. Cowboy penetrated Arizona territory, and they run the draw. And Smith is stopped again for no gain. And that's Russell Davis and Wakefield over there.
And this is what Emmitt does best. Remember back into the days of Daryl Johnston leading him up into the middle. As you can see, Terry Witherspoon taking on Ronald McKinnon. But, the one thing that you got to remember when the Cowboys are trying to do this against the Arizona Cardinal defense, they've had a lot of injuries and have had, in fact, today is their 13th different starting defensive lineup. But the one consistent has been their inside guys. Their two defensive tackles, Tanner Davis and their middle linebacker McKinnon, the middle linebacker McKinnon.
Second and 10, complete outside, and a fumbled football. Galloway gets back on it. And Kwame Lassiter over there with the defense. Galloway wide open on that slant route. Lost the football and got it back.
And this is just a simple three-step route. Galloway just runs about 4 or 5 steps up the field and bends it in. And as you can see, David Barrett does a nice job of getting his hands right around the ball and popping it out. Good thing Galloway recovered that one. That's when you're a wide receiver or anybody carrying the football and you fumble it,
you better have the best effort to get that ball back. And a smart play, obviously, by Kwame Lassiter, trying to go in and knock Galloway off the ball before he could recover it. He's been their best player for this Cardinal defense all year long, is Kwame Lassiter.
Well, Galloway fumbled it, recovered it himself, so the ball's marked at the spot of the recovery, and that was enough for the first down. And Emmitt Smith with positive yards for the first time, give him 11. Speaking of Emmitt Smith, he was a little disenchanted this week. Last week against Seattle, didn't have any kind of ball game. He felt like he didn't get the ball enough. 13 carries, and they didn't run the ball well, and he's worried about his 1,000-yard streak.
And that to me, that sends a bad message to the rest of the team when you complain about the number of carries that you have. I mean, this is a team sport. Everybody understands that Emmitt's going for the record, but for a young football team like the Cowboys are, that's not a good thing to have him say.
Option, Hambrick. First down inside the 5. 11 yards for Hambrick. Corey Chambers ran him out of bounds, but a little option play from Quincy Carter. Very nicely run.
Yeah, real nice play, and there's really no intention of having Quincy Carter handle that ball. And this is the guy, as far as why Emmitt Smith's carries are down, Troy Hambrick. Because Troy Hambrick is a good running back. In fact, he's third in the NFL in yards per carry with a yards per carry of 5.2. There's a lot of people out there that think he should be the guy getting the bulk of the load, including former Dallas coach Jimmy Johnson.
Smith back in, squeezes down inside the 2-yard line.
And I would agree with the concept of, hey, you've got to get the guy in there that's having the most success. And if you look at it just from a plain number standpoint, how can you argue that number right there? 5.2 per carry with Troy Hambrick. Emmitt Smith has
been a great player.
Has been a great player, but to give him the ball just because of past greatness, in my mind, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think he still warrants handing him the ball, but I think Troy Hambrick has earned the right to get the bulk of the carry.
Smith stopped short of the goal line by that's Johnny Rutledge.
Emmitt Smith, the ball carrier.
And the Cowboys trying to pound it in here on the ground.
And if you're at the goal line, anybody that watches a lot of football will know that that's the guy that you want to run behind is Larry Allen. And he is, in my mind, the best offensive lineman in football. There's not many guys right in the offensive line or defensive line where I can sit there and watch every play in a football game, but Larry Allen is one of those guys. He's tremendous.
Third and goal from the 1. Emmitt Smith. He's bottled up short. Chavis and Tillman combined for the stop. And now Dallas has to make a decision. They're offsides. Look at the Cardinals.
And it's very rarely that they'll call that around the goal line, but there's just nowhere for Emmitt to go where he was trying to go. The ball should have been cut back a little bit to where he had somewhat of a hole. But Corey Chavis and the rest of this Cardinals defense, this is big. This is real big for this defense because they haven't done a great job in stopping the run, and Dallas is going for it on 4th down.
Play action by Carter. Quincy Carter stopped short.
No signal yet.
Carter pleading his case, but they marked him down short of the goal line.
And Fred Wakefield right here does a great job. Or not Fred Wakefield, but Rob Frederickson, and McKinnon misses him. But Quincy Carter loses the ball when he's trying to get it stretched out to the goal line. That's a good call.
So the Cardinal defense holds, and they'll take over on the 20.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Energizer. Do you have the bunny inside? By Beechwood Aged Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. By Toyota, get the feeling. And by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
The Cardinals defense forces the fumble by Quincy Carter that rolled out of the end zone, and that's why it's a touchback. Arizona with the ball. First and 10 at their own 20, and a flag comes out before the snap. It's a false start on
Prior
Arizona.
to the snap, false start. Number 87 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Go back to that touchback and that fumble by Quincy Carter on the scramble here.
And it was actually a caused fumble by Maltosi. Comes in with his left arm and punches the ball out. And there it is. It's out before it gets near the goal line. And what happens is you'll see it starts to dribble out through the end zone.
And once it touches that line in the end zone, that becomes a touchback, and that's why Arizona had the ball out at the 20 rather than right there at the 1. Plummer with time, drops it off, and it is knocked away from Makovica, and will knock it away to Los Angeles. Here's JB with a game break.
Hey, Ray, take a look at the game winner, Chicago and Washington. Fake field goal by the Bears. It's Brad Maynard, the punter, who was holding. He tosses a touchdown to Brian Urlacher. They go on to knock off the Redskins and knock the Skins out of the playoffs. Jay Feely keeps Atlanta in the playoff hunt with that 52-yard game winner. Atlanta wins it by 3. Hey, Ray, when is the last time you've seen Terry Bradshaw in pink pants, buddy?
I promise not to tell. Other than this morning on the pregame show. Pittman picks up 6 to the left side, but there is a flag down as George Teague makes the play. And this one will go against the Cardinals as well.
Juwan Hawthorne was on the ground and jumps up, given the throw the flag motion. He seemed to think that it was some kind of
holding. Number 83, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Bill Levy, the referee today, and Tywan Mitchell committed that foul. And that's 2 plays, 2 penalties for Arizona in this drive.
That's Tywan Mitchell right there on Byron Frisch. And that's it right there. When Byron Frisch tries to release and Tywan Mitchell holds on, you got to let go. Good call.
Boston catches the slant. 14 yards. And the Dallas defense, the last 2 games prior to this one, it had trouble in the first 2 drives. Well, today, you look at that, they've only a negative minus 9 yards on the 6 plays, 2 3 and outs.
And last week in Seattle, this defense was pushed around. Ricky Waters ran up and down the field early in that ball game over this Dallas defense, and they did it. Seattle did it with 3 wide receivers to spread this defense out. And Darren Woods had said we worked specifically on that all week in practice.
Let's come. Plummer gets it out to Boston, who drops the football. And you got to think David Boston heard some footsteps.
And David Boston wants to play well in this ball game. Has a lot of family in Dallas and friends watching this ball game. And here's Isaiah Reese coming up on the blitz and gets picked up by Leonard Davis, and David just can't hang on to the ball. And that was a very catchable ball. David has his brother Byron's a Dallas policeman. His sister Alicia's a Dallas attorney. Has lots of friends and family in Dallas and would like no game other than this one to play very well.
2 drops already for David Boston as Swinton. Reggie Swinton now with just a kicker to beat, and he beats him, and now he's caught from behind by a hustling Pat Tillman. But a huge return for Reggie Swinton.
I talked to Reggie Swinton before the game, and he was in camp with me in Jacksonville, and he said that I am so ready for this game after my performance last week in Seattle, in which he had a drop pass, a tripping penalty, a punt return fumble, a kickoff that he should have let go of bounds. He had as bad of a day as you could have, and he was looking forward to this game today to make amends for last week, and he did a good job of getting a start on that with this punt return right here.
45-yard punt, a 43-yard return by Swinton sets the Cowboys up. 1st and 10 from the 23. Carter on the option and decides not to pitch it out to Emmitt Smith, and Kwame Lassiter covers him up, but not until Carter picks up 7 yards.
This is the same play they ran to Troy Hambrick, but this time Emmitt Smith is the intended pitch guy. But look at the alley that Quincy Carter has. He's got no other option other than to keep it himself. You know, Quincy Carter's not one of these lower his head and try to get extra yards kind of guy. He's a smart quarterback, and he will slot.
Kelvin Garman, injury timeout. Second-year man Kelvin Garman out of Halton, Texas. Baylor University out. Matt Lair fills in for him at the guard spot. 2nd and 4. And they run the toss, and this is Emmitt Smith. And Smith, with patience, gets the first down. Let's take a look at that play where Garman got injured.
And it was actually the block by Larry Allen against Baron Tanner. Watch what Larry Allen does with Baron Tanner. He pushes him down and actually comes right down on the right leg of Kelvin Garman. Kelvin Garman's a guy that head coach Dave Campo felt has needed a push this year, and that was the big reason as to why Aaron Gibson, when he came to the Cowboys, was that guard for a bit of time.
And indeed it was a first down. And the Dallas Cowboys have really had great starting position so far, but they have yet to capitalize on it. I mean, look at this. The Dallas Cowboys average drive start is in Arizona territory at the 44.
Couldn't ask for a better field position than that. And then in for the injured Kelvin Garman is rookie 5th-round draft pick out of Virginia Tech, Matt Lair.
Smith and Hambrick in the backfield. Draw, Emmitt Smith. And that's Rob Fredrickson coming up and making the play from the linebacker spot on the draw. And Fredrickson's an interesting guy. Here's a guy that's really not even practicing anymore because his knee, he bruised the kneecap, but yet they bring him out and let him play every weekend.
He's been banged up. He's been banged up a lot. When you get to this point of an NFL season, a lot of your veterans can do that because they've been around the block long enough where they don't need the practice reps to perform every week on a Sunday.
He's the 3rd leading tackler on the team with 108 coming in. Carter with all day to throw it, throws across the grain, incomplete, looking for his tight end. That's Jackie Harris. Coverage on the play by Fredrickson.
Talking with Jerry Jones before the game a little bit, asking him about his priorities in the offseason as far as positions that he felt that he would need to address. And it wasn't at the top of the list, but tight end was certainly one of them. Jackie Harris is not exactly young in his 12th year.
12th year, and he hasn't been that productive. 2 catches today, but just 9 coming in on the season. They run the shuttle pass to Wiley, and Wiley is stopped by Tillman and Sanyika.
Anytime you get a chance to watch Larry Allen play, it's exciting because he's so strong. He almost puts Sekou Sanyika on his back, but he does a great job of keeping his balance and recovering and helping out with the tackle along with Pat Tillman.
Sanyika was up on the tippy toes there for a second.
Larry Allen does that to a lot of people.
John Hilbert on for a 27-yard field goal. And this one is good. And the Dallas Cowboys draw first blood here. They're up 3-0. Close to the end of the first quarter. Happy holidays from everybody here at Fox Sports. Dallas up 3-0. 5 seconds left here in the first quarter. And Micah Knorr has it teed up. And he'll kick it deep. Michael Pittman is back for Arizona. And Knorr kicks it to the goal line. Actually, the 1 is where Pittman takes it. And Pittman up to the 28-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter with the score Dallas 3, Arizona 0. This is the 80th meeting today between the Cardinals and the Cowboys, but let's flash back to 1976 when the Cardinals were two-time defending NFC East champs, and they trailed the Cowboys by 1 game. But Danny White, who was the punter, connected with that last pass on a fake punt, and then Roger Staubach scores on this quarterback keeper, and the Cowboys prevailed 19-14 in that one. They went on to win the division that year with an 11-3 record. The Cardinals 10-4. And missed the playoffs back in '76. And Boston dropped his 3rd pass of the day. And the reason we're going through the history of the rivalry between these two teams is they won't be in the same division next year, Jeff.
And Arizona's going to be going to the West, and their defense needs to get better in a hurry. If you look at the teams that they're going to be competing with, they're in that division: San Francisco, St. Louis, and Seattle. And Dave McGinnis knows it. He said there's no doubt we need to get our defense better next year because we've got some stiff competition in that division.
Thomas Jones checks in the backfield, and he receives the Plummer pass. And Jones is stopped after a gain or 2, and right now let's go down the sidelines. Here's DJ Johnson with an injury update. DJ.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you. Cowboys guard Kelvin Garman was taken off the field a second ago after turning his ankle. He came to the sideline. They said they're going to retape him, see if he can play again. But he could barely put any pressure on that ankle. So soon after that, they put him on the cart, took him into the locker room. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Back up to you.
Thank you, DJ. And usually when they cart you off, it's X-ray time.
It's time to go to the X-ray machine. And this Arizona Cardinal offense needs to do something. Their defense has done a pretty good job so far with the goal line stand and holding the Cowboys to a field goal in a bad field position situation. But this Cardinals offense has given their defense no help whatsoever.
Looked like L.J. Shelton got early out of his stance as the Cowboys were bringing the blitz. Indeed, it was Shelton. And, you know, this is the 3rd time, actually the 4th drive for Arizona, and it's the 4th time that they'll be in 3rd or 9+ in that drive.
L.J. Shelton trying to get an early jump on Pepe Zellner. Right there with the defensive backs coming up and showing blitz made L.J. Shelton a little bit anxious. But Pepe Zellner doesn't have enough speed to give reason for L.J. Shelton to try and get out so quickly.
And Arizona with just 6 total yards of offense through 1 quarter. And this is thrown outside, and it's caught by Jones, but it's well short of the 1st down. And the Cardinal offense is yet to get in gear.
And the last time these two teams met, the Cardinals offense was okay, but they weren't real effective because they couldn't run the football, and they haven't even really tried to run the football against this Cowboys defense, which is understandable because the Cowboys are so good at stopping the run, but at some point you got to try to attain some sort of balance.
Player punts it to Swinton, who returned the last one 43 yards, takes this one at the 17, and Swinton is stopped after a short gain, a 51-yard punt, 7-yard return. Dallas up 3-0.
To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the highlight. By Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. By Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by UPS, the official delivery company of football fans everywhere.
13:28 to go here in the 1st half. Dallas Cowboys with a 3-0 lead. The Arizona offense has yet to do anything of note. 4 times they've gone 3 and out. Cowboys got points on their last drive, and Solomon Page goes early, and it'll back them up.
Ball start, number 77, offense.
He wasn't on the same page.
First down.
Wasn't on the same page, but the one thing that's pretty much remained constant for the Cowboys is more rushing yards than passing yards. But look at the ineffectiveness of the Cardinals. 4 total yards of offense in the 1st quarter, and -1 rushing.
And then the number of plays, I mean, they had 3 times they went 3 and out. Not very impressive. 1st and 15. Carter dumps it over the middle, and it's intercepted. And that's McKinnon. And Ronald McKinnon scores the touchdown, 24 yards.
And when your offense won't produce, go ahead and take it into your own hands and score yourself. Quincy Carter drops back the pass, trying to hit the underneath route, and when he does, the ball is actually tipped. Here's McKinnon. Well, watch when Quincy Carter tries to throw it. It's tipped right there. Trying to throw it to Troy Hambrick, and Bell is the guy that gets the tip.
Marcus Bell, the rookie out of Memphis, with the assist. And Ronald McKinnon takes it in for the touchdown.
With a nice move to get him in the end zone, going to the inside of Quincy Carter.
And the first kick of the career of Cedric Oglesby is good. And Arizona scores on defense with a little bit of luck. 7-3. The Cardinals are up.
Rookie Marcus Bell, the 4th-round pick for the Cardinals, is right there, and he's going to run a little stunt where he loops around to the outside and comes up against Larry Allen and flows Al Adams and gets that right hand up just enough to tip that ball.
The Oglesby kick is short and goes out of bounds. So the rookie kicker in his first game, his first career NFL regular season kickoff, is a "shank you very much." And the Cowboys will start again with good field position.
Hey, and watching him in pregame, he struggled. And the amazing thing about McKinnon making that catch is when he makes that catch, look at his right hand. He's been playing with a broken thumb, so he's got this thing off. Big old club. Nice job of making a catch with a club on your hand.
And then, you know, he put that ball in his left hand to carry
it in the end zone.
You can't hold on to it with that big thumb.
But he does have the use of his 4 fingers, and as you can see, he's got all those 4 fingers that are exposed taped up to give them as much support as possible. With that big split around his thumb and his wrist, puts those other fingers at risk somewhere.
And Ronald McKinnon, he knows how to play this game. I mean, he says it's a personal battle every time he steps on the field, and even Dave Campo recognized that when we talked with him. He said, you know, that the guy they got that's really running around over there.
Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Is Ronald McKinnon.
He said he's their best player on defense, no question about it. But there it is, right in his left hand. Smart play by him. Most running backs would rather have it in that right arm, but with that cast on that right thumb, a good job by him keeping it in the left. This guy is fiery. I mean, for the record this team has, and to see the emotion that Ronald McKinnon plays with, it's tremendous.
First career touchdown that was for Ronald McKinnon as Mal Tosi wraps up Emmitt Smith.
Mal Tosi so far having a nice day. He was the one that caused the fumble on Quincy Carter as Quincy Carter was trying to get into the end zone. But this has been what it's been like for head coach Dave McGinnis all year long. He's had to play a whole bunch of different people with Kyle Vanden Bosch out with his knee injury and all the other injuries that they have had across their defensive front and their front 7. He's had to mix and match all year.
Carter back to throw over the middle, wide open, complete to the tight end Mike Lucky. And Ishmael stays down, a gain of 16 on that play, but not sure what happened to Rocket, but he's limping off.
Well, and there's Lucky right there. The tight end just runs right up the middle and curls up in the middle and has plenty of room. And going back to look at what happened to Ishmael, running up the field, and take a look at what Adrian Wilson does to him.
Keep your head on a swivel down there.
Oh, once the ball is complete, you got to have that head on a swivel for sure.
First and 10, Cowboys on the move, and it's Swinton with a catch. And Swinton will go into the end zone. Touchdown Dallas, 45 yards.
Swinton made amends for last week with his 43-yard punt return. And now he's making amends for the tripping call that he had last week. Matched up against number 36, David Barrett, and just gets up the field in a great throw by Quincy Carter between Kwame Lassiter and David Barrett.
And Lassiter just has to make that tackle and give Swinton the credit for breaking the tackle. But that's a huge play and a great throw from Quincy Carter. Don Hilbert on for the extra point. And that is good. And the Dallas Cowboys answer back quickly. And they retake the lead. It's 10-7 Dallas. Quincy Carter on the left, Reggie Swinton on the right, hook up. That's the first career receiving touchdown for Reggie Swinton, a 45-yarder. And Quincy Carter 2 for 2 for 61 yards, including that touchdown pass on that last drive. He's heated up a little bit.
And as I said earlier, head coach Dave Campbell was looking for Quincy Carter to rebound after last week's poor outing in Seattle. And so far, he is off to a great start.
Carter 6 of 9 for 86 yards, a touchdown and an interception.
And the interception was not his fault. That was a tipped ball.
Michael Pittman on the return. And there's a flag down, 3 flags down, as Pittman is down as well on the 32-yard line. And you see the preliminary signal, a blocking infraction against the Cardinals. Oh, you got another one down there, and the Cowboys were offsides on the kick. Bill Levy explaining things to Dave McGinnis and staff.
Holding, number 87, receiving team. Offside, number 33, kicking team. The play will be declined and re-kicked.
I think the terminology you probably was looking for is penalties offset, and it will be re-kicked. And the special teams guys, they hate that.
Oh yeah,
you know
bad
that.
Enough
You're a
covering
big
one
special
kick
teamer.
To have to go back and cover another one back to back, and then go out and actually play defense. If you're a starter on defense, that can wear you out.
And here it is right there. Steve Bush, tight end, gets a hold of 87 Kenyon Rambo.
I don't know.
That's the, as you can see, there it is. That's the arm coming up to throw it right at Steve Bush's feet. But I don't agree with that call.
I don't either. I think that's a weak call. Joe Avezzano, the Dallas special teams coach, trying to get his group ready to cover yet another one. Micah Norris set to tee it up. Boy, but you hate to be the guy that was offsides covering a kick.
Oh. All the other 10 guys on the coverage team, except for the kicker, so 9 other guys.
Yeah, nobody likes you.
Are staring at you.
Here's Jamal Brooks on that last coverage, and he felt like he was held. And I don't know if he was held either. I think he needs to work a little harder.
You don't want to take it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, he took a flop. You never flop covering a kick.
The Cowboys coverage teams haven't been stellar this year.
And Knorr hammers it, and Marcel Shipp picks it up on the short kick, and Shipp all the way out to the 39-yard line. 27-yard return as Demetric Evans makes the special teams play for Dallas.
And you go back and you look at that touchdown pass that Quincy Carter threw. It's got to start up front with your guys in protection. And take a look at the protection that Quincy Carter had. And the Cardinals are not exactly pass rushing demons. And nobody even gets near him. And look at the reaction by Quincy Carter. And all the players like Quincy Carter for one reason. And that's his work ethic. They say nobody works harder than Quincy Carter. He's almost addicted to learning. And the players that get excited about that.
Woodson on the blitz. And it's almost intercepted. Mario Edwards made the play, but I don't believe he hung on to the ball.
Mario Edwards, they coming into this season, the Cowboys didn't have a whole lot of expectations out of their corners. But Mario Edwards, as Darren Woodson has said to us, is having a great year. He said he's playing really well and has come on through the middle of the season. Then Jerry Jones talking to him before the game, he said, look, if we can find one guy to put opposite of Mario Edwards, we feel that our defense will be much improved. And as Darren Woodson said, when we got a guy that can take away half the field like Dion used to do, it allows me to get up around the box and be that 8th guy up around the line of scrimmage. And that's
Dallas
what Darren Woodson
challenging
does
the ruling on the field that the pass was incomplete.
I think Edwards made the catch. I think it's an interception, and that's what Dave Campo believes, and they're going to challenge this one. I mean, you look at Edwards had possession. He has it in one hand and then loses it when he goes down. Here he is. He's got the ball. The hand goes down. To me, to me, he had possession of that thing.
Well, the ball didn't come out until he hits the ground, and the ground cannot cause a fumble, so you're right. That should be an interception. He's got possession of it right there. And it doesn't come out until his arm hits the ground.
The question was, did he have control
long enough
and have both feet hit the ground? And actually, the both feet didn't hit the ground. The other hand hit the ground first. And a hand or a knee equals 2 feet if you ever read John Madden's book. And so this should be an interception.
Should be. It should be. Then you got a hand, you got a forearm, and a foot.
And that's down on the ground. Let's take another look at it.
Anytime you're going against David Boston, you got to remember how much of a physical, imposing presence that he is at 237 pounds. And Mario Edwards does a nice job of getting in front of him so that David Boston can't use his size to block him out.
Yeah, I believe that's an interception.
You got right hand, right knee,
left foot, right knee,
left foot, and a left forearm.
After reviewing the play, the receiver never fully possessed the ball when it came out on the ground. The pass is incomplete. Dallas will be charged their first time out.
I guess that's your opinion, Mr. Levy. Let's go down to DJ Johnson for his view. DJ.
Hey guys, I know who really thought they caught the ball was Mario Edwards. After that play, he was screaming towards the sideline and the coaches. Challenge, challenge, challenge. He was jumping up and down, doing jumping jacks. He wanted that play challenge. He thought he caught it for sure. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, DJ. So did we. 2nd and 10. Plummer drops it to Makovica, and Makovica is hit for a loss. And Plummer panicked and had to get rid of it, and Michael Myers was there along with John Nix.
My guess is, Ray, that Bill Levy did not read John Madden's book.
Good point by you.
Maybe he just said, maybe I'll get to it next year.
Well, the measure is indisputable visual evidence, and Mr. Levy didn't feel he had that. As you see, the Arizona defense has outgained the Arizona offense. They're definitely struggling. This is the 5th time it's been 3rd and 9 or longer for Arizona in 5 possessions. Plummer down the field, wide open. Overshoots Boston. First of all, how does David Boston get so open, and then how do you miss him?
Whoa, I mean, if there was anybody that you would make sure that was covered, it's David Boston. I mean, maybe Frank Sanders or Tywan Mitchell you might let run free, but David Boston, certainly not him. I mean, all he's doing is right here running right up the seam, and nobody. He splits the seam right between the 2 defensive backs for the Cowboys. And DeJuan Hawthorne is in a trailing position. Jake Plummer just flat missed it.
Quentin tries to get the sideline, and he does. And, a big hit.
Michael Wiley, what a hit.
Cowboys up 10-7. You see this grass stain on the back of Pat Tillman's jersey? We're going to show you why that's there here in a minute. Michael Wiley lit him up on that last punt. Cowboys 1st and 10 from their own 26. Emmett Smith. And Smith can't quite get the corner. Give him a couple of yards. Corey Chavis with the play. And let's go back and take a listen to this hit. Wiley, number 32, on Tillman, number 40. That gave it true justice, because that was a heck of
it was
Tillman,
incredible.
Tillman went 10 yards out of bounds and slid around. That's why he's got that grass stain on his back.
That excited the Cowboys sideline.
2nd and 7. Draw. And Smith almost breaks through. He ends up a yard short of the first down as Marcus Bell gets him by the ankles. David Barrett jumps on his back. And right now, let's look at this AFC playoff picture. And how about them New England Patriots? Started off the year at 1-3.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they were impressive in yesterday's win against Miami in Foxborough. That was as controlling of a game as you could have against a good football team in Miami Dolphins. And the Baltimore Ravens, look out. I mean, you never know with that team. They get back to their form and they're getting their confidence back. They're going to be a factor.
3rd and 1. Carter to the air to Ismail, and he drops it. And you got to think the Rocket heard some footsteps. Corey Chavis was there with the defense.
Ismail's been their go-to guy this year. They were expecting Joey Galloway to be that guy. He just flat drops it, but Quincy Carter could have helped him out by putting that ball in front of him.
Yeah, that's a bad throw. Still one that has to be caught, but a bad throw nonetheless.
It has to have been a frustrating year anytime you're two talented guys like Ismail and Galloway, and you've been having so many different quarterbacks, young and inexperienced throughout the year, and they haven't been able to get the ball to them.
Nor high spiraling kick. Donald Jackson from the 15. Jackson up to the 23-yard line before he is run out of bounds. A 50-yard punt. A 9-yard return. And let's go back to 1988. After 28 years in St. Louis, the Cardinals debut here in Phoenix on September 12th, 1988 against these Dallas Cowboys. Steve Fleur hits Michael Urban, a rookie at the time, on that big play. And then Danny Noonan keys a solid defensive effort against Cardinal quarterback Neil Lomax. And the Cowboys won that one 17-14 in front of a crowd of over 67,000 here at Sun Devil Stadium.
Cowboys are going to miss coming here to Arizona because before the Cardinals came here, there was a lot of Cowboy fans, and there still is a lot of Cowboy fans here in Arizona.
Take reverse, Thomas Jones. Jones runs into Dexter Coakley. We'll see some of the scores. Ball games going on today. Packers with a lead over the Browns. Playoff implications in that one.
Atlanta's still hanging in there. And as the Baltimore defense rising to the occasion, getting a shutout against the poor offense in the Cincinnati Bengals.
2nd and 6. Plummer over the middle, and that's complete to Arnold Jackson for a first down. And the Cardinal offense gets a rousing round of applause.
They got a first down.
Hey, how about that? First one of the day.
Jake Plummer was excited about seeing Arnold Jackson on the field with the injury to Marte Jenkins. Arnold Jackson, the rookie free agent out of Louisville, was going to get a lot of extended action in this 3 wide receiver set that Dave McGinnis was planning on using. Not a big guy, only 163 pounds and 5'8".
Cardinals to the ground with Thomas Jones, and Dexter Coakley eyeballs him for about 4.
This is the other thing that you look at with the running back situation. After this year, Michael Pittman's going to be a free agent. And throughout the course of this year and last year, Thomas Jones was hurt obviously last year, but Pittman has always gotten more carries than Thomas Jones, and McGinnis said that I'm going to split the carries between these two guys throughout the rest of the year. And to me, that sends a message. So I think that they're going to probably let Pittman go and Thomas Jones try and let him be the guy next year.
Plummer with a pump fake. He now tries to buy time and has to throw it away as Myers puts the pressure on him.
Yeah, and he was, with that pump fake, he was trying to get Mario Edwards to bite up on the pump so that he could get David Boston deep. And as you can see, he didn't bite on it whatsoever.
And then Boston quit on the route. To me, you got to come back to your quarterback at that point.
You got to do something, especially when your quarterback's running around.
Boston, 3 drop passes today, as we talked about, is not having the kind of big day he had hoped for, which is surprising because Boston is one of the top receivers in the NFL right now. 3rd down and 7. Another 3rd and long for Jake Plummer. Shoots it to Frank Sanders, and Sanders stays alive. Frank Sanders cutting across the field in a foot race to the end zone. Sanders is stopped at the 1-yard line. Reese caught up to him.
This was as good of a throw as you will ever see in the National Football League. Frank Sanders being covered on the slot by Darren Woodson, and Darren Woodson is a big safety and a good cover guy, but Sanders does a great job of just getting about 1.5 foot space between him and Woodson on his release, and Jake Plummer throws an absolute rope right in there on target.
That's the first grab of the day for Frank Sanders, good for 58 yards. Push in the backfield, and they throw it in the end zone, incomplete, looking for Tywan Mitchell.
And Jake Plummer not happy, and Tywan Mitchell, after the Giants game, of course, he caught the big alley-oop catch in the back of the end zone that gave his team the lead. After the game, he said that we have a lot of great players on this team, and I'm one of those great players. If you're a great player, you've got to make that kind of catch.
Makovica now at fullback. Bush goes out to the wing. Makovica in motion. And they go to the ground, and Pittman dives. And he is still short. He's upside down in the middle of that pile.
I tell you what, they're marking him short of the goal line, but I don't know if rolling across all the bodies, he might not have gotten in there.
I think he goes airborne a little early.
Take a look at the vertical, though. With Leonard Davis right at his feet, he just goes airborne. I mean, that's pretty good jumps right there. Pretty good up. And see, he's still just rolling across bodies. Now it's 3rd and goal.
From inside the 1. Pittman, this time he's in.
I wonder if as a kid, Michael Pittman didn't jump off the bed dreaming that he was Superman.
Well, his first tattoo is the Black Superman there on his right arm. He looked like the Black Superman on this one.
Nice vertical jump. Nice vertical jump. And Michael Pittman, as Dexter Coakley said, he said this guy plays and runs like a man possessed, and I think that's the best description that you could give Michael Pittman.
And the extra point is good, and it is now the Cardinals in the lead, 14-10 over Dallas.
Makovica also leading up in there, but really didn't have to do anything because the right side of that Cowboys defensive line was running the slant to pinch the middle and take that away from the Arizona offense. And when they did, Michael Pittman read it perfectly and just slid to the outside, got airborne, and got into the end zone.
8 plays, 76-yard drive. The big one, the Frank Sanders 58-yard reception and run after the catch. And here's Oglesby with his 2nd NFL kickoff. And this one's short. Down to the 13, Swinton. And Swinton all the way up to the 36-yard line. 23-yard return. Tackled by David Barrett. And next week, it's another full day of NFL action, beginning with the undisputed champion of pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday. And it's Jeff Garcia and the Niners taking on Emmitt Smith and these Cowboys, plus Michael Strahan and the Giants look to stop Donovan McNabb and the Eagles. Or some of you will see other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox.
I hope Jimmy Kimball's not in drag, and I hope Terry puts those pink pants away. That was not pretty.
I kind of like that.
No, that was not pretty.
Nobody in the backfield for Quincy Carter. He goes to the air again, and this one is complete to Galloway, and Galloway tackled by Barrett, close to a first down, a gain of 9. Let's go back to the NFC playoff picture.
And St. Louis is by far the dominant team. In Chicago, everybody keeps saying they're doing it with smoke and mirrors. Well, today, they did it with a fake. And Philadelphia doing it on the road, basically, because they're not playing all that well at home. In San Francisco, Ray, we got the chance to see them. And offensively, they're still good. And defensively, they are so much better.
Well, they have 2 shutouts in the last 3 games at home. Pretty good defense.
And that's got to give some great positive motivation to both of these teams right here, that the San Francisco defense can improve from one year to the next with a lot of youth.
Penalty flag.
Illegal formation. Number 88 was not properly on the line of scrimmage. Offense, 5-yard penalty, second out.
Well, to me, you got to let a play run before you can call an illegal formation.
That's what I was thinking.
But hey, that's what they want to call. Let them call it. May have jumped the gun on that call.
Maybe got his terminology just a little mixed up.
Makes it second down and 6. Blitz comes from McKinnon. Almost picked off, and it should have been right through the hands of Ray Thompson. And boy, Quincy Carter was going to give another one up for a touchdown, because Thompson, if he gets this pick, he goes the distance.
And then Thompson's right here. That's him dropping back, and this ball.
I think McKinnon tipped it, I think.
Dexter Coakley talked about Jake Plummer's throw to him in the last game that these two teams played being a Christmas present. Boy, I tell you what, Ray Thompson had a Christmas present right there.
Didn't want to receive it. But that ball was tipped by McKinnon, and that would have been another misfortunate play for Quincy Carter. They dodged the bullet. And here comes the blitz. Quincy Carter scrambles, and he'll be stopped short. Lucas makes the play, along with Wakefield.
And this is just like the last time these two teams played. Dave McGinnis said we have to trick it up to manufacture pressure, and they're tricking it up right here, bringing Fred Wakefield on the pinch from the end spot and bringing Lucas and Lassiter off of the corners. And Wakefield comes off and makes the play with Lucas. Now, Quincy Carter, anytime you have a guy that has his mobility, you've got to respect him, and you've got to know where your lanes are to rush so that he doesn't have a huge opening to get through.
North punt to Jackson at the 17-yard line. Arnold Jackson is bottled up. Good defensive play by the Cowboys. A 38-yard punt, a 2-yard return, and him makes the play. And NASCAR returns to Fox in February. The first race will be broadcast from Rockingham, North Carolina, as Jeff Gordon seeks to defend his 2001 title. NASCAR coming back to Fox.
Have you seen the NASCAR promo where those guys are sitting there broadcasting the speed walkers?
No.
If you haven't seen it, you've got to see it, because that's as funny of a promo as I've ever seen. Broadcasting a speed walking race. If you can make that exciting.
Yeah, you can make anything work.
Oh.
They run the draw on the first play, and Pittman picks up about 5, and the Arizona Cardinals, their first 5 drives were very unproductive, but the last one they woke up on offense. 8 plays, 76 yards, but look at the first 5 drives.
12 yards. 12 yards and 5 drives.
And there's 15 plays. That's 5 3-and-outs is what they were faced with, and the biggest problem they had was 3rd and very long. Pittman is stopped short of the first down, and that brings us to our 2-minute warning. With the score here in Arizona, the Cardinals 14, the Cowboys 10.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper.
JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. The Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up-to-second stats, and we'll let you know what's going on in the playoff picture. 2 minutes left here in the second quarter. 3rd down and 3 for the Cardinals. 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. They run the screen to Arnold Jackson, and he's stopped by Dat Wynn. Cowboys use their second timeout. They'll get the ball back, and they trail by 4. Dallas trailing 14-10, but they're going to get the football back here with a 1:53 to go. Reggie Swinton, you see the long of 43 today. He's also been the recipient of a touchdown grab, 45-yarder from Quincy Carter for the Cowboys' lone touchdown. Swinton makes the fair catch at the 35-yard line. Let's flash it back now to 1997. September 7th to be exact, as Dallas had beaten Arizona 13 consecutive times until Kevin Butler banks one in for the win in overtime. The Cardinals go 25-22, a win over Dallas, and then the wild celebration followed here at Sun Devil Stadium, which included not only tearing down the goalpost, but running him around through town.
As we talked about in the open, I don't know if you would call these two teams rivals because of the Cowboys' dominance through the course of the series, but even in Arizona, Cowboys hold an 8-5 advantage.
However, Arizona's won 3 out of the last 4 and the last 2 in a row here.
That's right.
Just to spice it up for you. 1st and 10, Carter dumps it off over the middle, and this is caught. And that's Michael Wiley making the catch, but Tillman with the immediate hit.
Talking to Pat Tillman about this Cowboys offense, he said, I don't worry so much about the run game because that's what I do best as a former linebacker, but I always worry about the passing game. That's what I have to study up on.
Intercepted. Kwame Lassiter, number 9 on the year. And that'll tie him for the lead in the NFL. The 9th pick of the season for Kwame Lassiter. It was intended to Swinton, and Lassiter stepped right in front, and that's the 2nd pick of the day, thrown by Quincy Carter.
This is Kwame Lassiter right here at the safety spot. And when Swinton bends it in, Lassiter reads it perfectly. Quincy Carter doesn't see him breaking up on the route and just makes a great catch for number 9 on the year to tie him with the Cleveland Browns rookie Anthony Henry.
For the NFL league. Last time anyone had 10 in the NFL was Mark Carrier when he was a rookie back in 1990 with the Chicago Bears. Plummer now working the 2-minute offense, shoots it in, completes to David Boston for a 1st down. This is when Plummer's at his best. And no, Arizona did not use that timeout. They still have 3 left. This is complete out to Sanders, and Sanders gets the 1st down and gets out of bounds.
And Sanders is doing a great job of today of breaking that initial tackle. On the one long completion that he had, he did the same thing, and he does it here again against
I believe it's
DeJuan Hawthorne.
38.
And that's, anytime you've got 2 guys that can make plays for you like that, as a quarterback, you got to love it. And Jake Plummer certainly would like to have his 3rd guy, Rob Moore, back in the lineup.
And Plummer, he throws this one away. He was looking for Tywan Mitchell, but he was all covered up.
Jake Plummer talked about coming this year. He was excited having David Boston getting better. He was anticipating him getting better. Having also Frank Sanders and then having Rob Moore. He said, I was really excited about our 3 wide receiver sets. And then Rob Moore just hasn't been able to make it. His knee bothered him so much they had to put him in his reserve.
And then Marte Jenkins is out today. He's normally the number 3 guy. So Arnold Jackson is seeing that work along with the tight end, Tywan Mitchell. 2nd and 10, 3-step drop. Plummer throws it outside, complete to Mitchell, and he goes out of bounds up at the 21-yard line.
Tywan Mitchell is actually a converted wide receiver himself. This is him on the end of the formation right next to L.J. Shelton. All he does is just run to the sideline real quick. And DeJuan Hawthorne abandons his zone and follows Sanders up into the formation.
Brings up a 3rd down and 6. The Cowboys rush just 3, and Plummer dumps it underneath, complete to Jones, close to the 1st down, but he needs to use the timeout, and Plummer does. He takes the 1st timeout. We'll come back with a measurement. It's Arizona 14, Dallas 10. Rookie Cedric Oglesby out of South Carolina State was with the Cowboys in minicamp in 2000, was with the Chargers in training camp this past summer,
And now he's here to attempt his first NFL field goal, a 35-yarder. As you know, Bill Gramatica injured himself last week celebrating a 42-yard field goal against the Giants. He's out for the year. And Oglesby splits the uprights with his first NFL kick. A 34-yarder officially. And let's take a look at last week. Why is Oglesby in the lineup? Well, here's what happened.
Bill Gramatica, after his first field goal attempt early in the ball game, 42-yarder, jumps in celebration, tears the ACL in his right knee, and as Bill Gramatica says, hey, my celebrations come from the heart, but for goodness sake, have it come from the head. And that was just ridiculous. And, you know, there's a lot of players around the league that felt that, not that he got what he deserved, but maybe he ought to tone it down, and the people have been telling him that all year long. Not only him, but his brother Martin in Tampa Bay.
Right, and in the pregame show, Jimmy Kimmel did a nice little stint on those two guys a couple of weeks ago, because both of them kicked game-winning field goals the same week, and both of them, you know, they're very fiery guys. Excessive celebration is part of their deal. And it's just unfortunate that it led to an injury.
Well, I don't have a problem with game-winning kick celebrations, but when you kick a first-quarter field goal giving your team a 3-0 advantage, there's no cause for that kind of celebration.
And Oglesby just chips it down the field, goes through the hands of Wiley, and Swinton pays for it. And here's Oglesby warming up earlier today, and as you said, Jeff, he just had a little problem with some of the kickoffs.
The kickoffs, you could tell he was breathing heavy, and obviously has a lot of butterflies. Hasn't kicked in a regular season NFL game. I mean, last week he was substitute teaching outside of Atlanta. Actually got a phone call from one of his friends saying, hey, did you got your TV on? And he said, no, I'm out here practicing kicking. He said, well, Bill Gramatica tore his knee up in a celebration. So he thought that he might have a chance and had to go through a kicking tryout. Right. Here at the Cardinals, kicking 24 kicks.
And he beat out Vitaly Pisetsky for the job. And so at the end of the first half, Arizona 17, Dallas 10. And that is the end of the first half. Fox NFL Sunday will continue from Tempe after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. At halftime, Arizona 17, Dallas 10. DJ Johnson caught up with Dave McGinnis.
Coach Mack, you really couldn't get the running game going in the first half. You dropped a couple of passes, yet you still got 14 points on the board. 17 points on the board, I should say. Are you inspired that for the second half?
Well, I think our defense is playing extremely hard. Our offense, we're getting hurt by penalties and drops. We've had more than a couple of drops. We've had some big drops. Now we were able to get the interception for the touch. Then we had the one big play, but we've got to get more consistency on offense and keep playing with this same kind of hard energy on defense.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach Matt. Good luck.
Dave McGinnis team up 17-10 at halftime. We'll be back with the second half here from Tempe. Welcome back to Sun Devil Stadium. The Arizona Cardinals 17-10 lead over Dallas at halftime, and really, Jeff, Arizona hasn't played that well, but yet they have a 7-point lead.
No, it's kind of the opposite of how things have gone for this football team during the course of the regular season. Their offense coming into today has been pretty good, and their defense has been pretty lousy, quite honestly. But today, with the goal line stand and the 2 interceptions, it's been a big day for this Cardinal defense.
Let's take a look at the numbers and see what kind of story they tell here from halftime.
I mean, the obvious thing to look at is the turnovers. That's the biggest thing, and obviously the biggest thing in any ball game. And one of them was Quincy Carter's fault, the interception to Lassiter. One of them was not, in which Marcus Bell tipped a ball that McKinnon ended up picking off and running into the end zone for 6 points.
The quarterbacks, both of them, neither of them really setting the world on fire. Let's take a look at the comparison here in the numbers.
Yeah, and Jake Plummer, obviously 12 of 22, but has not been able to get the ball to David Boston for any consistency.
And Swinton brings it out to the 26-yard line. Let's bring it down to the sideline. Here's DJ Johnson, who caught up with Cowboy coach Dave Campo.
In the first half, it seemed like you guys were on the brink, and then all of a sudden something would happen and you guys would lose it. What would you tell your team at halftime?
Well, we've shot ourselves in the foot. You know, we had 2 or 3 offsides penalties. The one on the kickoff was huge. It was 30 35 or 40 yards difference in field position. Defensively, we missed a tackle on one play. Otherwise, we're playing pretty good. We just got to go out, play football, not make any mistakes, and we'll be in this thing at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Good luck, Coach. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, DJ. Cowboys start the second half. 1st and 10 from their own 26. Emmitt Smith trapped in the backfield. That's Baron Tanner. Big Baron out of Athens, Texas.
And as I said earlier, and from talking to Campo, he understood it as well, that the inside of this Cardinal defense is pretty solid with Tanner, Davis, and McKinnon. And Tanner, last week, had made a good number of plays, but that's one guy that I think has a good motor and is going to be good in the future for this ball team. He's only in his 4th year, and Davis is only in his 3rd year. These guys have a lot of room to grow.
Emmitt Smith is 14th carry of the day. He runs right into Ronald McKinnon as Fredrickson has him by the ankles. And Smith, 14 carries, 35 yards.
And at some point, when you have a guy like Darren Hambrick, or Troy Hambrick, Darren, his brother, obviously, who was cut by the Cowboys. With a guy like Troy, in my mind, you've got to get this guy on the field. I mean, Emmitt was one of the greatest backs ever to play in the National Football League. But Troy Hambrick has earned the right to carry the ball now. In my mind, this is a guy that should be, at the very least, splitting carries with Emmitt Smith.
On 3rd and 8, neither in the game as the Cowboys go with no running backs in the backfield, and Galloway makes the catch, and that's good enough for the first down. A nice throw by Quincy Carter, splitting two defenders.
Ball, babe? Thank you.
And Pat Tillman almost got a little carried away. Fortunately, he didn't finish. Galloway running the in route. Tillman was worried that Galloway went down on his own.
Right.
And was going to have to tackle him again. Unfortunately, he didn't finish him.
And Tillman will finish plays. That's one thing about Tillman.
He will hit you as a defensive back.
Blitz comes. Cowboys run away with Emmitt Smith, and Smith with room. And Emmitt Smith hit by Tillman, but not until he gets 10 yards and another first down. And the Cowboys had the perfect play call. They ran away from that blitz.
And this is what Campo talked about. The Nebraska toss, and he said it was really not a true sweep. It's just a lateral play designed to get up the field. And that's not what Emmitt is known for. You know, that's the one thing that even Jerry Jones and Dave Campo said is not his strength. Emmitt's strength is running straight up the field between the tackles. But with the blocking that he had on that play, I think anybody could have run that ball. Great block.
Troy Hambrick, the lone back in the backfield. They run the toss with Hambrick. He cuts it inside into Cardinal territory, down to the 48-yard line where Fredrickson makes the tackle.
And once again, this is a toss, but this time to the split end side of the formation. And Hambrick, who is the lone back, does a nice job of letting it stretch, and Larry Allen seals the inside off, but Fredrickson comes off the block and makes the play. You know, the one thing about Hambrick versus Emmitt is that Hambrick, when he makes a decision, he hits that hole as fast as anybody, whereas Emmitt reads a little bit more and is a little bit more patient.
Smith in the backfield. Witherspoon leads the way, and Emmitt Smith picks up some more yards, but the flag is down. Smith with 11 on that carry. We'll see if it stands. Holding on Dallas.
Holding, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Kenyon Rambo, the wide receiver.
The rookie free agent from Ohio State. Called for the hold. Him right here working against David Barrett. And if that's a hold, wow. I mean, talk about being a little flag happy. That's a poor call.
Yeah, you know, you want to call holding if it's going to affect the play. And he had the jersey, but it certainly didn't affect the play.
That wasn't even a hold.
Every year at this time, folks at South
NFL Sunday, brought to you by UPS, the official delivery company of football fans everywhere.
Dallas Cowboys facing a 2nd and 7, and they're doing so with a couple of youngsters in at receiver. That's Swinton at the top and Rambo down at the bottom. And Cheverini out there in the slot. Both Ishmael and Galloway not in the ball game. And they keep it on the ground to Wiley, and Wiley comes up short. 3rd down and 3 or 4 yards to go.
Yeah, the 3 wide receivers they had in there are Cheverini, Swinton, and Rambo. Galloway, I saw on the sideline, was getting attended to, and I have not even seen Ishmael.
So Dave Campo getting a look at some of the younger guys here late in the season. 9th play of the drive coming up for the Cowboys. Carter throws it outside, and it's knocked away, intended for Cheverini. David Barrett with the play.
And a nice play by David Barrett of getting that inside hand up into the body of Cheverini without interfering with his left arm. And this Cardinal defense has given this team reason to be excited because they are playing well. With the goal line stand in the first half, 2 big interceptions, and stopping the Cowboys on that drive.
4th punt of the day for Knorr. Just gets it away. And Arnold Jackson lets this one bounce. There's a flag down back where Knorr punted the football. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback. But we'll see what it is, and it's a kick running into the kicker violation by the Cardinals. And that's just going to be a 5-yarder, but 5 would be enough to get him a 1st down. So the Dallas offense comes back
running
out.
Into the kicker, number 31, receiving team. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
Critical error by Marcel Schiff to keep the Dallas offense on the field.
And what a costly penalty for the Arizona Cardinals. There's Schiff right there coming in, trying to get the block.
He ran into Micah Knorr.
And I'd like to see it a different angle, see how much of him he really got. Yeah, he got him.
Well,
he got that leg.
Almost like 2 ships in the night, only it was 1 ship.
Good call.
Sometimes you go for that block and you pay the price.
Well, and then it's kind of opposite. Last week, the Cowboys made a lot of bad penalties that were given Seattle 1st down.
Emmett Smith with a big play, and Smith starting to heat up inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. 14 more for Emmett, who now has 17 totes, 68 yards.
And that's been the weakness for this Cardinal defense, is the perimeter. Wakefield just gets blocked way away from the play by tight end Mike Lucky, and that's what started the hole for Emmett Smith. You know, the one area that they're going to have to improve on next year, the Cardinals, in my opinion, is their 2 defensive ends. They need to improve there, and they will when they get Kyle Vanden Bosch back in the line.
Hambrick in the backfield. He takes the toss, running behind Larry Allen. Allen with a nice block, and it springs Hambrick, and the Cowboys are now pounding the perimeter of that Arizona defense.
And then anytime you have Larry Allen out in front, lead blocking, as Pat Tillman said, he said there's a lot of offensive linemen in this league that when they pull around the corner, it's no big deal. But he said Larry Allen is a guy that has a twinkle in his eye, and he's looking to hurt somebody. And did a good job of blocking Rob Fredrickson on that play.
Yeah, Dave Campbell said Larry Allen will do that in practice. He'll waffle somebody and then come back to the huddle and kind of have a little laugh, a little smile on his face. And Emmett Smith on that cutback sweep again, and he'll be close to the 1st down. I believe he's a yard to a yard and a half short.
And then Emmett, coming into this game, needed 310 yards to get to 1,000 yards for 11 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards.
He was also 870 away from the all-time rushing record coming in, and he has 70 on the head today, so he's now 800 yards away from Walter Payton.
And in their third down package, they used Michael Wiley, who was the lone setback right here.
3rd and 2. And they run the toss to Wiley. And Wiley is very close to the first down.
And it's close. This is going to be close. Second year man Michael Wiley is a good back. Real good back. Gives them a lot of flexibility because he is a good receiver. And they do a real good job of sealing the inside of the defense.
And Rob Fredrickson made the tackle, but did he make it soon enough? The measurement will tell. First down, Cowboy.
And this Cardinal defense is going to need another big effort out of them right here. In the first half, they were able to do it even when the Cowboys got right down to the goal line.
Cowboys.
They don't have a big play guy up front, though. That's one thing they're missing.
14th play of the drive for Dallas. 1st and 10, and they go to the reverse. The flag is out. And there is nowhere for Swinton to go as Barrett stays home and takes it away from him. I was talking about the Cowboys. You saw that graphic. This will be the 14th 10-play or more drive of the year for Dallas, and none of those drives have resulted in a touchdown. And part of the problem is things like this.
Penalties.
Holding, number 61, offense. Penalties decline. Second down.
That's Kelvin Garman, who left the game in the first quarter with an ankle injury. Checked back in here in the third quarter and had to hold on.
And he got the hold on Marcus Bell. Marcus Bell came up pleading his case and got the flag. That's a good call. With Kelvin Garman being a little hobbled with an ankle, not moving his feet to get his body in position, drew the call.
On 2nd and 14, Emmitt Smith. And he is stopped. And right now we'll stop and head down to the sidelines for an injury update. Here's DJ.
All right, guys, a quick injury report. Rocket Ismail was hit in the head earlier in the game. He's still in the locker room. They're checking him out. He had his bell rung. Kelvin Garman is back in the game now. His x-rays were negative, so he is playing. Keep an eye on Joey Galloway. He took a shot in the back earlier. He's sore. He's on the field, but he is sore, and he's sort of moving gingerly at times. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, DJ, and I guess that explains for us why Ishmael and Galloway weren't in the ball game, although there's Galloway going to the slot at the top of the screen. 3rd and 14. Carter throws it outside, and that's complete to Wiley, but Tillman wraps him up. Pat Tillman is all over the field.
And the one thing you have when you have a young quarterback in Quincy Carter is you don't get the ball delivered. Watch the clear out routes here where Michael Wiley will slip out underneath. And if Quincy Carter had been able to get the ball to Michael Wiley a little bit sooner, Michael Wiley might have had a chance to get to the sideline and get to the first down strike. But Pat Tillman does a real good job of hanging on to Michael Wiley.
John Hilbert comes on to attempt a 39-yard field goal. Oh, and it's a bad snap, and Micah Knorr has to just throw it away. Knorr couldn't get the ball set down in time, and it messed up the timing, and Hilbert never even took a swing at it. And another mistake on special teams keeps the Cowboys down by 7.
The Dallas Cowboys are on their second snapper of the season. They had Randy Chevrier early in the year, and they cut him and brought in rookie free agent Mike Solwald from Wisconsin, and he bounces it back to holder Micah Knorr.
Pittman for a couple, and we'll take another look at this snap. This is the one hopper, proverbial.
Yeah, the one hopper Micah Knorr, and John Hilbert doesn't even have a chance. And what happens here is, as you were telling me during the break, Ray, as we both know, fire call. And when that happens, Datwin's trying to get out in the route so Micah Knorr can throw the ball to him. But neither one of the receivers got out real good. But as you can tell, it was the fire call couldn't have been made soon enough to get his 2 guys out into the route. A bad snap, another special teams mistake by the Dallas Cowboys.
Plummer completes it to Makovica along the sidelines for a first down. Hawthorne makes the defensive play. And Makovica makes his 3rd grab of the day.
And not a guy that usually puts up a lot of big numbers. From talking to Dexter Coakley, he said, hey, this is one of the better blocking fullbacks in the league, but he's the guy that never shows up on the statistics chart. And he's a bowling ball. 5'11", 247 pounds.
Another bowling ball, Pittman. And this is a strike for Pittman down into Cowboy territory to the 40-yard line, 26 on the pickup. And that's the first time the running game has done anything all day for the Arizona Cardinals.
And Michael Pittman, as Dexter Coakley said, runs like a man possessed. But what has to happen here is when they bring Darren Woodson up into the formation, you've got 8 guys in the box. You've got to stop the run. But the missed tackle right there by number 93, Pepe Zellner, is what enables Michael Pittman to get up to the secondary. And as Jake Plummer said, he said Michael Pittman might be the fastest guy on our football team, even faster than David Boston.
That's fast. Pittman again to the right side.
And Pittman may be a guy that will not be here in Arizona next year. They've got a lot of free agents that they've got to address in the offseason, and mainly on defense. I mean, look at the defense. These are all of their starting defensive backs. Tom Knight is out today with a hamstring, but even on offense, Michael Pittman, starting running back, Anthony Clement, starting right tackle, and Terry Hardy, who is usually their starting tight end, but is on injured reserve now with the knee injury. They've got a lot of issues to address in free agency with their own players coming up.
Thomas Jones, who could be the heir apparent if Michael Pittman were to head to greener pastures, and green being money, and I think that's always a big part of the decision. We asked Michael Pittman, what do you think is going to happen, and and is this something that's on your mind? And he says, yeah, it is on his mind. It's disturbing to him that he hasn't been offered a contract extension, or no talks have really happened yet, and he's concerned. He's got a wife and a son, and he's going to have to move him around, and just from my impression of the conversation, Michael Pittman might be somewhere else next year.
Yeah, I would think so. And from the Cardinals standpoint, Michael Pittman has had some off the field issues, and you got to be hesitant to pay a guy big money when he's had some off the field problems, and Michael's one of those guys.
That last Plummer pass overshot Frank Sanders. That'll bring up a 4th down. Big decision time for Arizona, and that's what they're going to do.
Go for it.
Well, the field goal, if it were to come to that, would be a 51-yarder. And with the rookie Cedric Oglesby not even warming up on the sidelines, they are going for it on 4th down.
And they're no stranger to this after last week with Gramatica's injury. They had to go for it on 4th down a couple different times.
Cardinals 9 of 18 on 4th down on the year, and this one is complete to Tywan Mitchell.
Now that's a great play.
Well, you talked about it earlier. The man called himself great. He backed it up that time.
He didn't earlier, but he did on that play. And he had a defender all over his back and pulled this one in. Just a strong catch. And I believe it was DeJuan Hawthorne.
Yes, it was.
Draped over his back and tried to step in front and does a nice job of holding on to the ball. And the last time Jake Plummer was disappointed and upset that Tywan Mitchell didn't catch the ball, and that time obviously very pleased.
1st and 10 now from the 26. And Plummer throws that one outside. Boston caught it, but he was out of bounds.
He didn't get both feet in. He only got one. When he was going backwards, he kind of lost his rhythm of getting both feet down. And was only able to get one in, and he was plenty wide open.
David Boston not having a Boston type of day, just 2 grabs for 24 yards. And you see he only got the 1 foot down.
And if he had been going forward, when guys go forward, you get used to that boom. 1 foot down and then bring the other one down. When you're going backwards, it's a little different.
You know, it could have been the sun in his eyes that, you know, you see the shadows now that the sun has come out, and that's a tip. So that's a big excuse that you often hear as Pittman takes to the left side. But David Boston has not had a very good ball game today. I mean, coming in 86 grabs, 5th in the NFL for 1,387 yards. That led the NFL, but look at all these drops he had early on.
Well, he's got 3 drops, as you've seen right here, and then he's also got this ball, which was overthrown, that Jake Plummer couldn't get it to him. And, you know, this is obviously a guy that the Cowboys felt you have to stop to have any success defensively. And to be quite honest, the Cardinals have had to get success elsewhere with Sanders, and they have.
1 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Plummer dumps it underneath. That is complete to Boston, but it'll be close to the 1st down. I don't believe he got it.
And this is going to bring up another decision for Dave McGinnis on 4th down. Are you going to go ahead and go for it again or kick it? And he's sending Oglesby out to kick. And Oglesby is 1 for 1 in his career.
Nailed a 34-yarder.
He's perfect
in the second quarter. That's right. And they'll line him up again. This one from 35. So it's the same distance basically that he hit from earlier. Almost the exact same spot. And Oglesby pulls this one to the left. And the rookie is now 1 for 2. And the Cardinals lead stays at 17-10. Holiday greetings. Part of our crew who does a wonderful job week in and week out. On 1st and 10, Emmitt Smith for a yard on the left side. Smith now with 20 carries, 72 yards. And the Cowboys have been their own worst enemy in this one. As you see the miscues, the fumbled snap that cost them 3 points, 2 interceptions. Those led to 10 points, and then they fumbled it out of the end zone there in the 1st quarter. That is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Arizona 17, Dallas 10. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. The sun setting to the west as the Arizona Cardinals have a 17-10 lead over the Dallas Cowboys as we begin the 4th quarter. Cowboys 2nd down and 9 from their own 26, and Quincy Carter goes to the air. And he dumps it underneath, complete to Harris, the tight end, and that'll be very close to a 1st down for Dallas. And Ray Bentley along here with Jeff Lagerman. And Jeff, the Cowboys have really hurt themselves more than anything. I think they've outplayed Arizona, but they trail by 7. But when you hang around, usually you have a chance at the end.
Yeah, you do. And the one thing I think that's starting to happen for this Cowboy football team, even though they've made a lot of mistakes with the interceptions and the special teams problem, is they're starting to run the football very well. But if you continue to run the football very well, you're still not going to get a whole lot of big-time plays or scoring opportunities just by running the football. You know, Emmitt Smith is not exactly a guy that has breakaway speed that can go 60 yards with 1 carry. You know, he's a guy that can get 10, 15 yards and a carry, and at some point your quarterback has to make a play for you. And with Galloway and Ismail both dinged up a little bit, you wonder about their ability to do that.
Well, Quincy Carter made a play with his feet there, picking up that 1st down on the ground. And you saw that last graphic. We saw the Cowboy 60 running game, 65 yards on the outside to just 36 on the inside. That's where they felt they could get something going against Arizona, and they have. The toss has been a great play for Dallas today. 1st and 10, Carter. And he throws it outside, and Hambrick slipped.
He just fell down. Galloway runs the slant route to clear it out so Hambrick can get to the flat, and he just flat falls down. Now here's Hambrick split out. Not split up, but right on the outside of the formation, right outside of Flozell Adams.
Well, Burt tripped him.
He just falls down. Now this is a great field as far as NFL fields go. I mean, there are some that are better like Tampa and Jacksonville, but this is a good field. Good solid footing.
2nd and 10, no backs in the backfield. Emmitt Smith flanked out to the top. Carter's hit from behind, a sack. And that's the linebacker, Fredrickson. 4th sack of the year for Rob Fredrickson. He leads the Cardinals.
And that's what happens when you go with an empty backfield. There's nobody to pick up the blitzer, and so that responsibility falls on the quarterback to get rid of the ball. And Rob Fredrickson comes in untouched. Quincy Carter doesn't even see him with his back turned to him.
Oh, and usually that's a turnover. You're fortunate that it wasn't.
You know, with Emmett split out, that would be the guy normally that would pick up a blitzing linebacker. And so that's what I'm talking about, when the responsibility falls on the quarterback to recognize where the blitz could come from on that particular defense, and Quincy Carter did not.
3rd and 17, and Wiley can't hang on to it. And the Cowboys will have to punt this one back to Arizona.
And then from end of the first half to where they were running the ball fairly effectively, also here early in the second half running the ball fairly effectively, and then that's what happens when you get a long yard situation. You cannot run the football. That's what I was saying about, you know, at some point you've got to have the pass to get the big plays. It's tough to run the football when you're 3rd and 20 or 2nd and 12 all the time.
Nor punts it to Jackson. And Arnold Jackson takes it in the sun at the 31. And Jackson gets the corner. And Arnold Jackson all the way up to the 47-yard line, a 40-yard punt, a 16-yard return for Jackson, and Arizona has excellent field position and a 7-point lead.
Proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. By Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series. By DirecTV, the #1 satellite entertainment provider. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper.
And you see Lynn Scott, one of the gunners for the Cowboys, and the other one, Jason Bell. He did a nice job on that last one. Bell made a saving tackle as Plummer pitches it outside, complete to Arnold Jackson. Let's take a look at that special teams. Both those gunners trying to get down the field on that last play.
And those are the guys that you want to get down there first to make the tackle for little or no gain. And then both of them got blocked very well. But the one thing I give Jason Bell credit for, even getting blocked into the sideline, he comes back and makes the tackle on Arnold Jackson, even though it was an 18-yard punt return.
Michael Pittman heating up, 40 yards rushing in the second half, 48 on the game. And this is Thomas Jones, and Jones up to the 40-yard line, first down.
And a little out of sorts for most football teams, and the Cardinals came out wanting to throw the football against this Cowboy defense, and I don't blame them. You know, this Cowboy defense is good against the run. And look at the size of the hole that he had to get up into, Thomas Jones. Wow.
Well, I think when you pass the ball and have some success, now your running game can open up a little bit. Plummer takes a shot down the sidelines to Boston. Incomplete. Hawthorne got the hand back and knocked it away.
And DeJuan Hawthorne, excellent coverage, and the big reason for that, when you're going against David Boston, who is a big, physical, wide receiver, is you never let him get his body between you and the ball. And look at DeJuan. He never lets David Boston get inside position. Excellent play by DeJuan Hawthorne. You know, one of those guys that they weren't really expecting a whole lot out of this year, and has really stepped up his play.
OT and Mario Edwards have been very solid at the corners for the Cowboys. And Plummer tries to stick it into Arnold Jackson. Jackson makes the catch, but he pays for it. Dexter Coakley with an immediate hit.
Dexter Coakley is one of those guys. I mean, he can play every down. Every down. He's quick. He's fast. He's not big, but he makes plays, and he's a good tackle. And he said the one thing that he feels that he has to do, because he's not one of those prototypical NFL linebackers at 6'3", 245 pounds, is that he has to study a lot so he can cheat his alignment. Takes tape home every single night during the week, and he says it helps not being married.
Well, he is engaged, and that's sort of his style, but I'm sure he'll continue to be a student of the game. As Plummer
scrambles away and just has to throw it away. Pressure coming from Pepe Zellner. He tried to get it down there to Frank Sanders, but really nowhere to go with it for Plummer.
And once again in that spread formation where they're getting all the wide receivers out. And the coverage was just a zone by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys did a good job of picking up the men that were in their zones, all the defensive backs. You know, that's one of the problems that usually happens in zone coverage is people don't pick a man up in their zone, they just cover area. And the Cowboys did a great job of covering a man in their zone.
Seventh punt of the day is fair caught by Swinton. Cardinals up 17-10. Those guys down in the truck. But they do a heck of a job.
Do a great job.
Let them see the light of day once in a while. First and 10, Emmitt Smith cuts it back all the way out to the 20-yard line. Give Emmitt 8 more on the play as he is now has 80 yards on the day.
And they continue to work that perimeter, pound the perimeter, as you say, of that Arizona defense. You know, and the running game is working, but you know, if you're going to run that style of offense, you can't have a couple things happen. One is tackles for losses, which has happened a lot this year for Emmitt. And the other thing is penalties.
Second down and 1. Draw play, and Smith lunges forward for another 6 yards. Lassiter and Fredrickson combine on the stop.
And instead of a true fullback leading the way up into the hole, this was actually tight end Jackie Harris right here leading the way for Emmitt Smith, getting a block on Ronald McKinnon, and does a good job on Ronald McKinnon, because Ronald McKinnon is a stout middle linebacker.
First and 10. And Emmitt Smith again. And Smith close to another first down. And Smith now getting close to 100 yards on the day.
And not only did Coach Campo talk about the toss plays, the Nebraska toss, he also talked about the counters. And here's Kelvin Garmin and Jackie Harris leading up. Look, one block there, and look at the hole. Right here for Emmitt Smith. Allows him to get to that second level to Kwame Lassiter, Pat Tillman, and the secondary of the Arizona Cardinals. But like I said, if you're going to try and run the football to win the game, you cannot have penalties and you cannot have tackles for losses. And Emmitt Smith this year has had a number of them. 191 carries coming into this game. He was tackled for lost yardage on 34 of those.
And Smith with only 2 100-yard games this year, on the verge of that right now. 23 carries, 98 yards. Second and inches. And the flag is out. Looks like Calvin Garmin may have gotten a head start on that offensive line for the Cowboys.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 61, offense. 5 yards, second down.
And that's 2 mental errors for Kelvin Garmin today. He had the hold earlier. This is him right here. And he did get a little early jump trying to block Russell Davis along with Mark Stepnoski. So now instead of a 2nd and 1,
right,
you move it back to where it's 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6.
Now the officials want to discuss the clock. That's the line judge, Charles Stewart, talking to Bill Levy.
There's a problem with the game clock. We'll check on the sideline.
Problem with the game clock, which reads 10 minutes, 27 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Cowboys trailing by 7. They're facing a 2nd down and 6 to go. And while
Mr. Levy makes a phone call. Let's check in on the NFC playoff picture.
St. Louis, Chicago, Philadelphia leading their divisions. San Francisco right on the heels of the Rams.
Big win today for Tampa Bay.
The correct time is 8:29.
Yeah, they hammered New Orleans today. Hammered in Tampa.
So we just lost a couple of minutes. It's 8:29 now left. Severini and Ishmael to the top, and they run the toss play. And Emmitt Smith gets the corner. Smith forced out of bounds all the way up to the 42-yard line, and Smith goes over 100 yards for the 73rd consecutive 73rd time in his career.
And Flozell Adams is hurt.
And while Flozell is attended to, we'll take an injury timeout.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Energizer. Do you have the bunny inside? By Norelco for an unexpectedly close shave guarantee. Put it to the test. By Lord of the Rings, now playing rated PG-13. And by 989 Sports, only on PlayStation and PlayStation 2.
Well, what seemed like a routine sweep by the Dallas Cowboys could turn out to be a calamitous play, as both tackles, Flozell Adams and Solomon Page, they bang knees.
Yeah, and Flozell Adams is right here, and he's going to block down on Baron Tanner, and when he does, Solomon Page is up here on the right side and is trying to cut off his guy. Look at bang knees right there. That's where they bang knees, and another look at it. From down low, there's the knee of Flozell Adams. And there comes Solomon Page in. They hit each other right in their upper shins, and they're both off. And this is going to create quite a problem for the Cowboys. They bring in Sharon Dorsey to play right tackle. They move Larry Allen from left guard to left tackle and put in Matt Lair at left guard. And the Cowboys were running the ball so well, this will create problems.
They're waiting to get the card off the field so they can resume play. But yeah, you're right. If both of those guys are
they're not going to fit both of them on one cart, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to need two carts for those guys. But that's just a freak of play. How often do your two tackles, flanked out on each side, end up running into each other? I don't believe I've ever seen it.
Not very often.
Smith on the draw, runs into Ray Thompson. Let's look at this play, this replay one more time, and watch these two tackles collide.
And it's Flozell Adams' left knee and Solomon Page's left. So it's two left leg injuries for both of these guys. And it was no surprise that on the first play, they didn't try to run the Nebraska toss or the outside play. They ran just a straight lead play with Emmitt on that last play.
Troy Hambrick in at tailback for Emmitt Smith, and Hambrick takes it up the middle, but the whistle blew before the snap, and it'll be a false start on the Cowboys.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's the rookie out of Florida State, Sharon Dorsey.
And if I'm Jack Riley, the offensive coordinator, I'm going to stick with what's worked. Even if I've got my two tackles out, I'm still going to run the toss plays and the outside plays because that's what has had success so far. And even though your two starting tackles are out, you got to stick with what's worked so far.
Getting close to the 7-minute mark left here in the fourth quarter. And Quincy Carter completes it to the tight end. Mike Lucky for the first down, and the Cowboys moving the ball down the field, trailing by 7.
And Flozell Adams is coming back out onto the field. And Matt Lair comes out. And just a little seam pass to Mike Lucky. And Flozell Adams is now back on the field. He's left tackle. Larry Allen goes back to left guard, and Sharon Dorsey is still in at right tackle.
That catch by Lucky, his second of the ball game, and here goes Emmitt Smith. And maybe Emmitt had a point when he said, "Give me the football," as he picks up another 15 yards. Smith on the day, 25 carries, 128 yards.
Well, he may be right for this game. For last week in Seattle was a different story, but today you're going against a defense that coming into this game was ranked 24th in the league against the rush. You don't tell you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that you need to run the ball against this Cardinal defense.
They run that option play again, and Hambrick takes it and makes a nifty cut inside and picks up 4 yards. Kwame Lassiter makes the tackle.
And then that was huge for this Cowboys offense, having Flozell Adams back on the field. Huge. And you see they went right back to the left on that toss play to Flozell Adams' side. And that's where they're getting all their success at, is on the outside of the formation. I mean, this is it. That's where they're getting their yardage.
Looks like Dorsey went early again.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's his second false start penalty since he's been on the field. That's what you have when you have rookies that don't have a whole lot of reps play time. He's a rookie out of Florida State, their 7th round draft pick, who they're real high on. And eventually he may be moved into the starting lineup, with Flozell Adams being a free agent at the end of this year. And today they're just wearing out this Cardinal defense on the ground.
And again, the Cowboys running for more yards than they're passing for. They've done that all year long, as there's a flag down as Emmitt Smith takes it outside. Dallas, the only team in the NFL who has actually ran the ball for more yards than they've thrown for.
Number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Make that 3 penalties now on rookie Sharon Dorsey. 2 false starts and now a holding call. And that's the guy that is hurting them right now, not having him on the field. Solomon Page.
Page is taking that long ride back into the training room, where he'll get x-rayed. Let's go down to DJ Johnson for a quick update. DJ.
All right, guys. Flozell Adams, you saw, is back in the game. They both collided and hit their left knees. They're taking Solomon Page in, check his left knee sprain. He'll be evaluated. I'll let you guys know in a little bit. Back up to you.
Thank you, DJ. As Terry Witherspoon makes his first NFL reception, and Rob Fredrickson makes a tackle, and Emmitt Smith, tell you what, the first half he struggled a little bit, but in the second half, Emmitt has looked like the Emmitt of old. Here he is in the first half, and he can't even get back to the line of scrimmage. But then things opened up for the Cowboy back in the second half.
And Emmitt, just like most backs, great backs, the more carries they get, the better they are. Guys, this is the third and 12 right now, and the whole reason for this was the costly penalty on Sharon Dorsey.
And a direct snap to Wiley, and Wiley makes a great cut, and he is going to be a couple of yards short of the first down as Lassiter makes the play.
And here's the direct snap. This is Michael Wiley right here in the backfield, and does a good job of making something out of not a whole lot. In fact, Mark Stepnoski, when he runs into Mark Stepnoski, is what slows his momentum down. Otherwise, he probably would have gotten the first down, and the Cowboys are electing to kick with 3:30 left in this fourth quarter.
Boy, I don't understand that, but
I would expect they should have gone for it.
Well, yeah, it's only 4th and 3, but they decide to bring Hilbert out, and he misses it. Wide to the left. But I can't imagine why at 4 and 9 you don't just go for it on that 4th down.
And John Hilbert missed the 41-yard field goal. The snap was low again. Earlier, the Cowboys had a bad snap from Mike Sowald, and they weren't even able to attempt the kick. And now this one's in the dirt as well, and I believe that threw off Hilbert's timing. As Pittman pushes the pile for a couple more yards, but let's look at these two botched snaps by the Cowboys. Here's the early one.
There's their quarter. The bounce get back to Holder, Mike Knorr, and then on the second one right there, it was low, and you could tell that John Hilbert, his rhythm was way off. Mike Knorr had problems getting that ball put up for John Hilbert.
And there's a timeout on the field, and we'll take one as well. Ray Bentley and Jeff Lageman here in Arizona. And Jeff, I really believe Dave Campo made an error in not trying to go and convert that 4th and 3.
Well, even if he had made the field goal, you're still down by 4 points, and you need a touchdown anyway. You might as well go ahead and go for it because you need 7 points.
Pittman picks up a couple on the right side. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 1. And I don't know, Dave Campo, his team has made a lot of mistakes today, and that's one thing that happened to him. He said last week we kind of felt like we took a step backwards last week, and we'll take a step backwards right now as the Cowboys use their final timeout. Take a look at the NFC playoff picture, a big one today. Tampa Bay spanked New Orleans to put the Buccaneers in that final wild card spot.
And all these teams have helped themselves out. St. Louis beating Carolina. Philadelphia, though, lost to San Francisco.
Chicago.
Atlanta beat Buffalo, and the Giants beat Seattle.
Yep, you see Chicago up there clinching the division. Actually clinching a playoff spot, but they beat Washington today, and that's what the crimp on the Washington plan is. On 3rd and 1, Pittman picks up the 1st down.
There's a late flag.
There is a flag, a late flag.
Darren Woodson.
Makovica and Woodson were mixing it up afterwards, and Woodson kind of took a cheap shot.
And I think Darren Woodson was getting blocked by Makovica, didn't like it, and actually had a kicking motion towards Joel Makovica.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 28. Defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And not what you would expect out of your veteran leader, Darren Woodson. As you see the play develop, here's Makovica blocking Darren Woodson. He's just finishing the play. And Darren Woodson threw him down, and when he did, made a kicking motion. Now, I don't know if he actually kicked him, but it certainly looked that way.
Woodson.
Very uncharacteristic of Darren Woodson.
No doubt about it, and you got to understand the frustration. He was here when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls, and now to be on this team is a tough thing to deal with. And Dallas with no timeouts left.
And talking with owner Jerry Jones before the game, he feels that the core of it, as far as the veteran core of his team, is Larry Allen and Darren Woodson. And Darren Woodson had an option year on his contract that would have had him under contract next year, but he attained 3 interceptions, which voids the last year of his contract. So he will be a free agent at the end of this year. And Jerry Jones did say that signing him is going to be our priority number 1 as far as the veterans that he wants to keep on this football team.
Do the Cardinals get the play off before the 2-minute warning, which they had to do because of the time left on that play clock, and it will now wind down to the 2-minute warning. So with 2 minutes left, Arizona in command, 17-10.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by
Pendle. Blowing the horn to warn all the deer on the highway. Jake Plummer is tripped up. Gives me a chance to say today's game is being produced by Raymond B. Smaltz III, directed by Andy Kendall. The associate director is Larry Lancaster. The broadcast associate is Phil Mason, and the technical producer is Marvin Kale. The pregame show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorn and David Hill. And as always, a great job by the stat man, Rudy Cleveter.
Now, we talked about what these teams are trying to accomplish here today and then also the last two games to get momentum going into next year. But both of these teams are going to be faced with a lot of decisions coming up in the offseason, in free agency, with some of their own players. And both teams will have a lot of cap room to maneuver around in the free agent market.
That's one thing Dave McGinnis said. Hey, you know what? We had some dead cap money this past year, but that's not going to hamstring us going forward.
Yeah, and Jerry Jones said that with the contracts as they are right now, they're going to have $24 million in cap room. He said we're going to have basically just about as much as Houston, the expansion team.
Delay a game. Offense. The penalty distance is declined. 4th down.
He says if we go ahead and play with some of the contracts that we have, we will have a lot of money. And they've got some key free agents. These guys, they'll just tender them right here to where they can retain them. Now the keys are those Flozell Adams and Darren Woodson.
And Player punts it in towards the end zone, and it'll go into the end zone for a touchback. And it's Arizona 17, Dallas 10.
And this is not the position that you want a young quarterback in. Down by a touchdown with a minute to go in the 4th quarter.
And Emmitt Smith makes the grab and brings it out to the 31-yard line. No timeouts left for the Cowboys.
And a little scrum's breaking out there as the Cardinal players are trying to slow the Cowboys from lining back up again.
All right, lay on the pile.
It's taking 20 seconds to run that play, the first play.
And Carter shoots it to the sidelines where he hooks up with Swinton, and they say that Swinton stayed inbounds too long and they run the clock. Tough call for the Cowboys there.
You've got to use the sideline, and now they're down to about 20 seconds left.
And Quincy Carter just spiked the football, but I think that Swinton certainly got out of bounds. I think they didn't do him any favors by keeping the clock running.
Well, they marked the ball on his forward progress, and I don't understand that. I mean, he worked his way to get out of bounds. He was hit in bounds, but as you'll see right here, the completion is made, and he runs to get out of bounds, and he does. Clock should have been stopped.
Well, it was stopped on the spike by Carter, 2nd and 10. 59 yards from pay dirt. And Carter throws it inside to Swinton, and the Cowboys are going to have to hurry to get this one off. Carter spikes it with 4 seconds left. And now it's basically one shot into the end zone is what the Cowboys have left.
Time for the Hail Mary play.
And Dallas did a nice job because Swinton makes this catch here inside for 17 yards. And there's about 15 seconds left. They hurried up and they got the ball, the clock stopped with 4 seconds to go.
And it's going to give them one last chance, and they line up Chiaverini, Swinton, and Raheem Ismail off to the right side of the formation to throw it up.
Carter lets it fly. And it's batted away, incomplete.
And a great play by batting the ball away instead of trying to catch it.
And that's the final. Arizona 17, Dallas 10. We'll be back to Tempe in a moment.